Alright, hi guys, I've just redone my sponge set to show you all how I do it, since even though I used music that's on YouTube, apparently my video got blocked in almost every other country except Australia. So, yeah, basic sponge set. I'll be doing a brush out video tomorrow to show you how I brush it out to get it just normally the way I wear it for work. I've popped up a little page just before the video to tell you all what you need to kind of try and cut down the length of my videos, as at the moment I don't have the ability to speed them up or slow them down, but I hope you enjoy it and let's get started. Okay, so to start I'm going to take my teasing, or my comb, and I'm going to take a section on the top of my head. Now the biggest thing that I learnt from Eva of Dolls and Dames when I did her workshop earlier this year was that the neatness of your sections will really help you have better sets. So I'm going to take this section here as my top section. I'm going to get a clip and clip back a bit, and I'm going to focus on this section here. So I'm going to take my first roller and I'm going to get a bit back, try and make it as neat of a section as I can, and not too big. If it's too big it won't dry. I'm going to give it a comb, I'm going to spray it with some setting spray. I get my spray bottle, give it a spray and drop everything, and then I'm going to comb it through. I'm going to take my sponge roller and I'm going to try and show you how I do this. So I get the end and I place the roller on it and I hold it underneath with my thumb. And then using my fingers I initially roll it down and then I roll the rest. I find that this is a really good way to help stop your ends getting kinked, which can happen if you kind of tuck your end under and it's not sitting right. So we're going to do the same thing. This is pretty much how we're going to do the whole head. So brush, I'll move this around so I can reach my rollers. Take a roller, a brush, stick it on. Drop a bit. Oops. Sorry, I'm apparently very clumsy this evening. Roll it down. I hope you guys are liking the new shorter section of what you'll need. I just found that otherwise, as my editing abilities are quite limited, as at the moment I'm doing all this on my iPad, it just makes the time frame of my videos a bit more watcher friendly. Okay. One more. And the front. Yes, I get a brush. And roll it. Ta-da! And then we have our first section. So as you can see, I've got 4 in the top. The first 3 are going to create my fringe roll tomorrow morning. So I'm going to now section the back and keep this section going. I'm sorry to those who couldn't watch the initial video of this, as it seems that even though I selected music, used music that was on YouTube, apparently that's still copyright, so I will keep that in mind for when I film in future. So I've taken this section here and I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did at the front. I'm going to keep all of my sections going down the back of the head, so the same direction as the top ones. This is actually, for a beginner, this is actually a really good set. It's nice and simple. It's really easy to kind of do on your own with foam rollers, which, you know, I kind of wish that I'd known about setting patterns when I started. My first foam sets were interesting, to say the least. They weren't always very successful. I remember my very first ever foam roller set, I actually put foam rollers on like brand new, out of the shower, dripping wet hair. I didn't even dampen them. I slept in it and was gutted when I took them out in the morning and my hair was still wet. I have come a long way since then and just really am trying to help give you guys some knowledge that I wish I had when I first started doing hair. As hair, I find, especially being new to pin-up, can be one of the hardest aspects. So just still going down back. Just I'm spraying it with setting spray, then spraying it with a spray bottle of water, getting a comb to mix it through, getting my sponge roller, and then rolling it up. Pretty simple. Spray, I guess I was a bit inspired to redo this video. I was very disappointed to hear that a lot of people didn't actually watch it. And today I played hairstylist and did the hair of my friend Melissa, who is the Crazy Cat Pinup, on Instagram. And it just kind of really made me want to redo this so that everyone could see it. On the bottom, just on a note as well, I actually use a smaller size roller on the bottom curls of mine, just as I find that my underside tends to actually lose its curl a lot quicker. Spray bottle it. Roll that down. Okay. So we've got our first row in. I'll make sure that I can. So I've got my first row in, down the back of the head. Now we're going to do the sections on either side. So do this side first, so that's not my stronger side. You want to section it into two sections like that. And I always do the front section first, that's why I find that when I clip the hair I end up trying to see the back part with this big bit of hair in my face and it never quite works. So for me, when I do this front section, I always use 4 sponge rollers with a small one on the bottom. So I'm going to do the top row, which is the same through all of them. It's just a spray, run the comb through. Now, the reason I use a spray bottle is because I personally find, especially even more so since going blonde, that my hair can be quite porous, and even if I blow dry it partially and do it on like shower damp hair, my hair still won't dry by the morning. I'd really suggest using a spray bottle for beginners. Everyone's hair holds water differently, so it's really good in the sense of, as a beginner, you can go over lightly damp hair, so like one spray, see how it's going to sit, and then if you want, you can add a bit more water and see if your hair copes with that, if that makes sense, because there's nothing more frustrating than spending time on a set to wake up in the morning and find that your hair hasn't dried. I speak from experience, it's actually really, really frustrating. It can ruin your whole day, especially if you were kind of counting on having a nice set for something. So if you had an event or you were going somewhere, and you know, you'd planned on having this really nice hair, and then suddenly you wake up and you take it out and it's still wet. You know, this can be really devastating. So until you kind of get to know your hair, using this method can be really good. And even though I've used this method pretty much now for 12 months, I will still only generally use one spray on my hair for a foam roller set, as I find that my hair just will not dry. So we've got, there we go, look, almost half done this part of the head. Got 4 rollers. Now, this other part, I'm going to pack it, because this side, when you start setting, you will always have a side of your head that you are able to do better than the other. I find that it comes down to which hand is dominant, so even though I'm right-handed, I actually find my left side easier to get my set in properly than my right side. So we're going to start on the right side today for a change. So I've got a section, I'm going to spray it, my comb it. I tend to do mine quite tight. I know that you can get some kinks using sponge set, but you know what? I'd rather sleep comfortably. I'm still working on my wet setting with pin curls on my new hair. And while I love Swiss rollers, I've recently actually started doing a Swiss set, and then before I go to bed, you know, sitting under the hood dryer, and then before I go to bed, changing them to a sponge set, just so I can actually sleep, as Swiss rollers are quite bristly, even though they do give a really, really nice curl. So another one, and you just basically, just like you did on the back, and just like you did on the front, you just work your way down. So how has your Saturday been? Mine has been pretty awesome. My original plans for Saturday fell through, and I ended up catching up with an amazing friend, and we had a great day, and we hopped in the pool. Then it rained, but we hopped in the pool, so I was happy. That was originally the aim. Sorry, this string of hair is being a bit tricky. Let's try again. If your hair is really, really layered, you can sometimes find sponge rollering a bit tricky, until you kind of learn to gauge where your layers are. Once you know where your layers are, you're pretty okay. So this bit next. I'm gonna spray. It's really funny. I keep thinking that someone's in my hallway when really it's just my hood dryer that I haven't put back in my bathroom. I think I've been watching too much Psychic Detective recently, and I think I need to stop watching it for a little while, especially when I'm home alone. So this bit wants to tuck under, so I'm going to get my comb, I'm going to tuck it up, and then roll it up. Get Next piece. Now this is where my hair always tends to not dry. This just must be a side that I like to sleep on. So I'm going to use smaller sections just through this bottom bit. At least it will dry. Roll it up. We're nearly there. I'm dropping everything tonight. And would you look at that, in 15 minutes we're almost done. This one's going to be tricky. I'm going to try a different roller. Sometimes my rollers are quite used, so I find sometimes that if one roller doesn't work that another one may actually be better. Here's my little one for the bottom. Okay, throw it through. Now with your sets, normally I try and get a set in by about 8:30, 9 o'clock to ensure that it's dry by the morning. On a first set, I'd make sure you give it at least minimum 8 hours to set properly and dry, especially if it's your first set. So as you can see, the first side's done. As I have a lot of hair, I use quite a lot of rollers. I've tried using bigger rollers and less rollers, and I just found for my hair it didn't work. So this time we're going to do the same on this side. Clip up this back section and do 4 in the front. So yeah, as I was saying, I find that on my hair, I know a lot of girls who get some really nice waves of, you know, large sections in big rollers, and I've tried that and I get zip. That's probably partially due to the way my hair doesn't really hold curl. When my hair was red, it was a constant fight for curl. Heat set, don't even bother. It would come out straighter than when I started doing it. Wet sets, when I finally really got good at them, were okay, and when I found this product it was incredible, but I could still really only get 8 hours max out of my wet sets, which was really frustrating when you put so much time into a hair style and it just doesn't hold. My blonde is holding a lot better than my red ever did, but there's still some things that apparently it just won't do, and taking to a curl when I use larger sections seems to be one of those things. So in my opinion, the more hair curlers, the better. And I find them easier to sleep on as well when you have more even layering like this. So because they're consistent all the way around my head, I find that there's no really kind of incredibly uncomfortable sections on my hair, on my scalp when I'm trying to sleep, because they all kind of line up. It's like a second head. So that's something else that I think if you're new is really good. When I do the brush out tomorrow morning, you will see that initially you will look like Shirley Temple. It is okay, you will not stay looking like Shirley Temple. So we've done our row, and now basically I'm going to just do the last section, which is this one here, and then we are done. So again, starting at the top, taking a smaller section, spraying, combing through, and putting in a foam roller. When you first start using foam sets, there is a high chance they will take you a lot longer than this video. My first foam set took me, I think it was an hour and a half to put in on my red hair. I didn't really have a setting pattern either, which actually made it longer. With practice, you'll get quite good at it. You won't have to, it won't take as long. But again, if you are a beginner, remember that practice with this sort of thing and repetition, honestly, it really does make perfect. No one starts out being perfect at pin-up hair. It's something that you have to really practice and work towards, and then it will all just come together. So, about halfway down now, so roller, roll it. Again, this set is honestly just my my everyday set. I'm still getting the hang of doing different brush outs, which I'm sure over time I will get better with. But for now, this is a really good place to start. I wish I had actually started at something very simple like this. It would have made my own journey a lot easier. So I'm gonna roll it up. And now I'm nearly at the bottom now. Spray. Must be windy. Balcony doors making noises. Trying to get this strand of hair away. There we go. And we're nearly at the bottom again. We're just starting nearly at the 25-minute mark, so I think that's pretty good. Running out of rollers. Story of my life. Second last. Spray. Spray. and lucky bottom last. See, that's my hair in its natural state, incredibly dead straight. And roll. Okay, so all my rollers are in. I normally just do a loose spray again over the top. I'm going to grab my mirror to make sure that I'm showing you right. So I've got, that's the side, that's the back, and that's the other side. So we're all set in. The whole idea is to sleep on this. So you can use a scarf if you have one, a square scarf. So how you would put on a square scarf is you fold one triangle end in, and you want to put it at the base, pull it up over and pull the loose triangle section through the top. You tie it and you tie it again. I personally found this gem in the hair supply warehouse that I go to, which is a already triangle netting scarf. I find for my sets it's really good, and it was only like $4. Best kept secret of the hairdressing world. So I literally just throw this one on and tie it, and I flip that bit back and I tie it, and that's pretty much it. So I hope you've all enjoyed this video. I'll be doing a brush out in the morning that I'll be filming to show you how I just do an everyday brush out and a basic everyday fringe. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm trying to get better at these. It's a bit daunting initially being on camera, so I'm still finding my feet. So thank you for everyone who's subscribed and for everyone who's been patient with me. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the comments section below. I will do my best to answer all of them. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning.